All right, everybody, let's get into it. This is Stand By Me intro. And if you stay towards the end of the video, I'll show you a solo that you can play also. But let's start with the intro. If you look at the tab there, it starts on the 2nd fret of the C string. Giant cockroaches eat apples, right? So most times, we always start with our pointer finger doing most things, and then we use the other ones when we have to. I'm just gonna suggest we're not gonna use our pointer finger at all for this intro. Let's go ahead and use our middle finger on the 2nd fret of the C string, all right? And if you look at the next note, it is the 2nd fret of the E string, so you can just either flatten your finger out to hit that next note, right? It lets off of the C string, which mutes it, and then it goes to the E string and gives you a chance to pluck it. Now you can use your thumb or your pointer finger, whichever one works. I think this one I usually use my pointer finger, but either one will work, okay? So, and then after that 2nd fret of the E string, we're gonna use our ring finger to do the 3rd fret of the E string, all right? So it's, now the whole intro part, that was 2 sections of the intro part. At the very end of the intro, we're gonna do that same exact thing. So you just played half of the intro already. If you played that correctly, you already played half of the intro for Stand By Me. And try to listen to that. You can listen to the original bass line also, but just don't go through the motions of, that's not how the song goes. You want to add that swing to it, right? There's a little bit of space between those 2 threes, right? Now, if you go to the next section there, your ring finger's already where it needs to be, but there's a little bit of a break, a pause too, and then it goes 3 2 0 0, all on the E string. 3 2 0 0, right? So where that intro, the first 2 sections is 2 2 3 3 2 2 3 3 3 2 0 0, right? So these 2 fingers are both in the right spot. You did that to that to that, and now we're going that to open twice. So not a lot of movement, right? That's great. The less movement, the better. And then after you do that 3 2 0 0, then you're gonna put your middle finger, all right? We're not using our pointer finger, our middle finger back on the 2nd fret, and then 2 opens on the E string. There's a big pause there at the end, but you let that 2nd O or 2nd E note ring out. Right? So the whole thing at the beginning is 2 2 3 3 2 2 3 3 3 2 0 0 2 0 0. Right? Right? Now, as I mentioned just a second ago, this is actually a bass that is doing this, a bass guitar that is doing this, but on a soprano, tenor, concert tuned high G, it's not going to be able to go down low, so that's why we're doing it on the 2 other strings. There are other ways of doing it, but to keep it as fluid as possible in the key of G, we're just going to do it right here. But you could, same thing like I've taught you in other lessons, you can move this whole movement somewhere else and change the key of it. Move it up 2 frets, and then you're in the key of A, right? So anyways, so let's try that again. middle finger, right? 1, 2, 3, 4. Bum 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 bum. You can hear it in your head, hopefully. This is a song that's been around our whole lives, and it gets played all over the place all the time. So this is definitely a great song to learn, and this intro definitely adds to that. All right, so let's look at the second part of the intro. Now, if you're not ready for the second part, keep practicing the first. You don't have to watch this whole video right now. Pause this, mess with part 1 as many times as you need to, all right? And then mess with part 2, and then go back and see if you do part 1 and part 2 together. All right, so for part 2, we're gonna start in the open E this time. Right, O, 2, O, O. So this same thing, we're gonna use our middle finger on the 2nd fret. The whole intro, we're gonna have only your middle finger on the 2nd fret of either string, right? And the ring finger is the only one that's gonna be on the 3rd fret of the E string. So you're only using 2 fingers for this whole intro, and this one for 2 frets or 2 strings, this one for 1 string. So it's pretty easy overall once you get it. All right, so this next one is O, 2, O, O, and then we pause a little bit, and then we're gonna do another O on the C string, which means open. O, O, 2, 2, right? That's the second little section there. And then it actually goes back to that same initial thing that we did in the first part of the intro twice. Right? So O, 2, O, 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 2, 2, 2, 2, O, 3, 3, sorry, 2, 3, 2, 3, 3. So try that each section. Same thing, make sure you're not just blowing through and just playing the notes as written. Add that, right, there's still a little bit of a pause between those 2 open on the C string. Right? I messed it up a little bit. All right, so let's count it off and see if we can play it together. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, if you need to, back it up and play over and over again. All right, so the whole shebang for the intro is right here. Now, if you look back on the first 2 that I showed you, they have chords over the top of it. That's the chords for the whole song is G, 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 E minor, E minor, E minor, E minor, C, C, D, D, G, 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 G. That's the whole song. The whole song just loops that over and over and over again, even during the solo. So you could totally do that. I guess I'll explain it in a second, but let's mess with this intro now. The full intro anyways. So let's try that. Now just remember the first 2 sections are identical to the last 2 sections, right? So if you play this more than once, keep that in your mind that you have to play it 4 times in a row on the way back around. First, the first two times, then it goes to the next 2 sections, the next 2 sections, then the last 2 sections, and then when you go back up top, you need to do 2 more. So that's 4. A lot of my students come back after doing it, and they play it twice, and they go right back into the 3rd section of the first part of the intro, and they skip the intro, the beginning of the intro. So just keep that in mind, all right? So let's do what you need to do. Go as slow as you need to. You don't have to go as fast as me. All right? 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, that's the whole intro right there. So you can play along. If you need to, pause it and work on it on your own at your own pace. If you're messing up, that means you're going too fast for your current ability of doing this specific thing. And that goes for everything with anything you're learning. Slow it back down if you need to. Look at me, I switched back to my pointer finger. So you could play that through the whole song and sing over that if you want to. Now, it is a little harder to play notes and sing over that and keep it all in time, but you could. The other thing you could do is if there's more than one of you, if you have a group or a duo, trio, whatever, everybody else can play the, right? They can play the chords while you're playing the melody. But if you're playing the melody, you have to be louder than everybody else. Otherwise, it'll get buried underneath everybody going, right? They won't be able to hear all those melody notes. So two things could happen. Everybody else needs to play quieter. And also, you probably need to play a little louder, or if you can, plug in, or maybe if you have one mic that you're sharing or two mics or whatever, get up closer to the mic down here, and that will hopefully help that ring out a little louder than everybody else. So anytime you're doing the solo or the intro or the solo that I'm going to teach you next, get closer to the mic so that way it can hear you. The other thing you can do is during the intro, if you have other people playing with you, they can just not play while you do the intro. If there's no way for you to play loud enough for everybody to hear you, just have everybody sit out while you're doing the intro. You just have to decide, are you going to do the intro once or twice, and then practice with them on how to come in that third time and start singing, all right, with the G chord. All right, so let's do the whole intro twice this time, all right? Just remember, there's two at the end, two of the same thing at the end, and two more at the beginning of the next beginning one, all right? All right, let's give it a shot. 1, 2, 3, 4. Beginning. When the night has come and the land is dark and the moon is the only light we'll see, right? So that's how the song starts anyways. The other thing you could do is for the solo section, after the second chorus, you can play this intro again and use that as a solo. But if you want a little bit more of a challenge, here's part 1 of the solo. Now it is sort of the same thing we just played, except for now we're going to be playing way up the neck, so it's going to be a lot higher and brighter, right? No, I messed it up. But you get the idea. Now you saw me, I used my pinky. You don't have to use your pinky. If you want to use your ring finger for the 12th fret, your middle finger for the 10th fret, and your pointer finger for the 9th fret, you can totally do that. I was using my ring finger for the 10th fret of the A string, and then I was using my pinky over here, but you don't have to do that. These are all options. So you decide what you want to do and just practice that. Make notes for yourself, whatever you need to do to remind yourself, because your muscle memory is going to be built on whatever you practice. Then when you come back and you can't remember, and you try to practice it and you start using different fingers, your brain is going to be like, hey, what are you doing? So that's just the first part of the solo. But same thing. I made it so even people that have sopranos only have 12 frets, right? You could still do this solo. I think originally I do it up here. I do it here or something. I do up here and it just goes maybe to the 13th, 15th fret. So I redid it so that way everybody can do it like here. So use these dots as references or whatever you have on your uke, 5, 7, 10, and 12. And if you have a soprano, there's probably not a dot there, but that way at least you can find it. Because if you're in the middle of the song going, all right, here's the solo. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. All right, there I am. Look ahead. Use your eyes to look ahead. Like, there's the 10th fret. That's just where I need to move to. Right? So look ahead and start doing that with a lot of things. Look where you're headed. You already know where you are, so you already know how to do whatever chord you're doing, hopefully. And so start looking ahead at like where are you going next, and that'll help you keep everything really fluid, especially if you're playing with others. If they're not moving and they're just doing the same thing up here, they're going to keep going at the same pace, and they're not going to be able to stop for that extra millisecond or whatever for you to go, all right, where am I? Right? All right. So like I said, there's different ways of doing it. Let's just have one finger on each string, pointer finger on the 9th fret, and you can leave it down, I think the whole time, for the whole solo. That'll work just as an anchor. Even though you're only going to hit that note a couple of times, you can use that as an anchor to help steady your fingers. All right, so 10, 9, 10, 10, 10, 9, 10, 10. Practice that. Right, just like we did before. Two of your fingers are already in the right spot for the next two notes. And then we're going to do the ring finger on the 12th fret. Right? 10, 9, 12, 12. And then it stays right there. 10, 12, 10, 12, 12. Right? Like my muscle memory is messing with me a little bit. Like I said, I usually do it over here. So it's fighting me a little bit, my brain is. But that's just the way it is. All right, so 10, 9, 10, 10. All right, so just practice that part over. Pause it, practice it. Pause it, practice over and over again. Then come back. All right, let's try to play it together now. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, I left my pointer finger down the whole time for an anchor. You don't have to do that, but it helps sometimes. All right, so all right, let's move to the second part of the solo. All right, so the last note you're hitting is the 12th fret of the E string, And that's exactly the same note we're going to start with this next section. But we're going to use a ring finger, right, for the 12th fret. Right? I did the whole shebang the last time just to show you how it goes, but this is how to play it. All right? 12, 10, 12, 12. You're right there. Next section, you just keep your ring finger there. 12, and then switch strings to the E string. 10, 10, 10, 9, 10, 10. The last two sections are identical to the first two sections, so you got it. Same thing. Pause it, come back, and give it a shot. All right, let's do the whole shebang. Even though I already did the whole shebang, let's do the whole shebang for the solo. All right, ready? Get your pointer finger and your ring finger, or your middle finger in the right spot. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right. Practice that, and then come back, and now we're going to play it together twice. Do a full solo. It's just the same thing twice. Now, is this the same solo that they're playing on the original song? No, it is not. All it is mimicking or duplicating what we're doing here, an octave higher, but it's just an alternate way of doing it. So that way it gives you some variety, number one, as a player, but also for the people that are listening, it's a variety too, right? So they don't have to hear the same thing over and over again, but you can play it and it'll be fine. All right, let's get your two fingers in the right spot. We're gonna do it twice this time, all right? 1, 2, 3, 4. Messed up that one little note. Sorry about that. But so pause it, practice on your own, come back, see if you can play that whole thing. The next level is to be able to play the chords, right? And then go right to it, right? You got to keep it in time though. That's the hardest part. But anyways, so you got the solo. Another practice thing you could do is you could either record yourself playing the chords on the song sheet: G, G, E minor, C, D, G, G, right? Not that fast, but those are the chords. That's the whole song. You can record yourself going, right? Do the whole thing, and then you can play the solo over it. So here's the catch with that. The first two notes of the solo and the intro come in before that first strum of the G. If you listen to it, I'll try to do it with, I'll try to strum it, and then I'll do the melody line with my mouth instead of, but I'll try to play softly enough so you can hear it. Bum, 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 bum. Bum 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 bum. So if you listen to all of that, there's two notes leading into the next chord change. And so that very beginning, you're going to start with the G, but you're going to do those two notes first. Strum, 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 strum. All right. So that part's a little difficult when you're if you have somebody playing with you, they need to know that also. They need to know their first G doesn't come in till strum, strum, right? That first one anyways. But you can either record yourself or and then play along with it, loop it, you play it like 10 times in a row, record the whole thing, and then just play it over and over again. You can do that with the intro and the solo, so it's multi helpful or whatever. So hopefully that was all a good lesson. That'll take this song to the next level for you or your group or whatever. If you have any questions, let me know. Have fun.